Glenn and I, talked quite a bit about knowledge form and knowledge building as a concept, and we had a number of debates about what's the best way forward, how do we expand it, how do we invite people on board. So I think having that debate and that open conversation about questions, concerns, what's next was an important part of the process. And then I also encouraging Glenn to try different things, do a lunch and learn, talk to these people, and then keeping our eyes open for funding that was available. The first stab that Glenn and I had at knowledge building was tied to Great to Excellence a few years ago. We weren't successful in the proposal, but our system leaders at the superintendent level found it to be something that was interesting, so they supported it locally. So we got to try that once before this project started. We brought teachers together at multiple time frames to train them on knowledge form, to talk more about concepts. We actually had them go through building a knowledge building community. And we used aging, that was on all of our minds as we get more and more birthdays pass by us. So that became just an exciting afternoon for the teachers doing their own research and asking their own questions. And when they saw how easily they were hooked into that thinking process, I think it was an easy sell to try it in the classroom. So we invited 20, we had 20 actually take part, and I've never had that kind of carry through, so that was exciting. The feedback that we've received from teachers is they want to continue meeting locally in their schools. They want to meet with other teachers to share what they've learned. I don't know if everybody will continue to use knowledge form, and part of that, we don't know if it's going to be available for us to use beyond this year. But the idea of building questions, that concept of leave a question, work a question, the idea of community in the learning process, I think is going to be something that we see. The idea of using scaffolds, the big network of scaffolds that Glenn often shares with people, I think you'll see more of that in various forms on paper and different types of media. After we had teachers committed to the project, we committed more time to bringing teachers together on multiple opportunities to share their learning, to share their struggles, to ask questions. So we had a lot of open dialogue. We learned just listening to how teachers interacted with students, how it changed their practice was quite powerful. One of the big debates that Glenn and I have had along the way is the connection of knowledge building with knowledge form. And my concern is always, if the concept of knowledge building is attached to knowledge form, how much traction are we going to get when we have people who are uncomfortable with technology? Technology doesn't always work. So one of the success stories, I think, for us was that we opened it up that teachers could use lots of different platforms. So we had people doing pen and paper tasks, we had people use apps on iPads, we had people use things through Google Cloud, our cloud platform here at the board, and we had teachers use knowledge form. And I think that diversity allowed people to really wrap their heads around the concept of knowledge building, that idea of community learning, and the excitement that can be generated in a classroom.